When her strength became control, I chose peace over proving myself. It was a little after midnight. The city outside was silent, save for the occasional car humming down the street. I was lying next to Serena, her body warm beside mine beneath the sheets. I wasn't even fully awake when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. Out of habit, I reached for it. One new Instagram story, hers. I tapped, expecting to see a photo of her wine or our cat, Milo. Instead, it was a selfie. Her in a satin robe, a half-empty glass of red in hand, the glow from the bedside lamp catching that unmistakable smirk. A bold caption stretched across the top of the image. If a man feels threatened by a strong woman, he was never a real man to begin with. I stared at it, the words hitting harder than I expected. Not because I disagreed, but because I understood exactly who it was aimed at. I turned my head slowly. She was still awake, scrolling through her phone with the calm of someone who hadn't just fired a warning shot into the silence of our bedroom. She didn't say a word. Neither did I. But something unspoken filled the room. Test, taunt, maybe both. The truth is, we hadn't been okay for a while. Not in a dramatic plate-smashing kind of way, but in the kind of way where you slowly stop recognizing the person next to you. Where little comments start to feel like barbs, and silence becomes more suffocating than peace. Serena had always been unapologetically ambitious, sharp-witted, and assertive. First, I admired it. It drew me in like gravity. She was the type of woman who lit up every room and owned every conversation. But over time, what once felt like strength started to feel like a constant challenge, like I had to prove myself just to stay in her orbit. If I disagreed with her, I was insecure. If I expressed discomfort, I was too fragile. And if I ever admitted I was hurt, grow up. Real men don't get their feelings bruised. She wasn't abusive, but she was dismissive of my efforts, my emotions, my presence. In public, she'd cut me off mid-thought or correct me with a smirk. In private, she'd mock my hobbies, poke fun at my ideas, and if I called her out, she'd frame herself as the misunderstood one. One moment that still lingers happened at a friend's housewarming party. We were all laughing in the kitchen when someone brought up DIY disasters. Serena chimed in loud enough for the room to pause. Tell them about the bathroom sink. Poor Lucas watched 6 hours of YouTube and still flooded the floor. Laughter erupted. I laughed too. The kind of laugh you force when you're too embarrassed to do anything else. But what they didn't know. She had insisted I fix it myself. Said calling a plumber was wasting money. So I tried for her. I stayed up late, got drenched, and kept at it until it worked. That night, I brought it up gently. Told her the joke stung a bit. She barely looked up from her makeup mirror. You're really upset about that. Toughen up, Lucas. That night, I didn't return to bed. I lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, wondering when I had started tiptoeing around the person who once made me feel like a giant. Over the next few days, I began to see our relationship for what it had become. Not a partnership, but a hierarchy. One where my worth was tied to how well I could keep up, or keep quiet. Gave it a week. I watched, listened, hoping maybe she'd notice the shift. In my voice, in my silence, in how distant I'd become. But instead, she doubled down. More cryptic quotes on her feed. More passive-aggressive remarks. One morning I noticed my old college scarf, something sentimental, stupid maybe, but mine, missing. Threw it out, she said casually. Looked like something a teenager would wear. No warning. No conversation. Just gone. Like my preferences didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. That afternoon I packed quietly. I didn't wait for a fight. Didn't write a dramatic speech. Just a simple note on the kitchen table. You wanted someone who could match your strength. I wanted someone who could stand beside me, not over me. Take care. I blocked her on every platform that night. Not out of spite but self-preservation. I moved into a modest apartment across town. Spent time fixing up a reading nook. Reached out to old friends. Picked up painting again. Something I hadn't done since she called it a waste of time for a grown man. It was strange at first, the quiet. But eventually it turned into peace. Breathing felt easier. I realized I'd been walking on eggshells for so long I forgot what it felt like to stand tall. Then, weeks later, I got a message from an unknown number. I didn't realize how much I was pushing you away. I thought being strong meant never backing down. But maybe I lost something more important. I stared at the screen, rereading it, my thumb hovering. But I didn't reply. 'Cause I'd learned something too. Real strength doesn't diminish others. It uplifts, it listens, and sometimes it walks away. Not to win, not to punish, but to finally breathe. A few days after that, I stumbled upon another one of her posts. True strength doesn't tear people down. It builds them up. Maybe she meant it. Maybe it was just another performance. Either way, it didn't matter. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't trying to prove anything. I was just living, and it felt damn good.